They're seizing internet domains without notice.
Okay, so I read this one. It's interesting, and I know what you're. Well, I appreciated what you were getting in after. So the bottom line in this is that there's it was an ex parte court order that was issued to go after Russian hackers, and they're alleging all sorts of unlawful activity from I don't know where they're based, but what was it called? Blizzard. The word Blizzard
Yeah,
was in it, right?
they said, well, they just put a label on it. They said, we think we've been the victim of hacking. We call it Star Blizzard. It's all Bill Gates and Microsoft who got the New York and state of Washington attorney generals to sign up for them. That's why those two are on there. And they've sued John Doe's. So they haven't sued anybody. So they're going to a court and say, hey, court, here's about 100 domains. We would like you to shift their ownership to us without the other side even knowing it's going to happen. We want you to go to the registrars of those domains, and we want you to order them by court order under contempt authority of criminal sanctions potentially to transfer in secret ownership over all these web domains to us. And our sole grounds for it is we think there's these John Doe's. We think they're part of a hacking operation. We think they're connected to Russia. And they don't even say that these sites are the sites. They say, we believe these sites have been used for the purpose of doing this. Not that Russians or anybody owns them impermissibly. And they say, but they're like, but you can't do it because if we're right and you let them know and they come in here, then they might stop us from stealing their websites. And the judge, because it's a judge in D.C., says, yeah, no problem. And just signs an order transferring ownership overnight of 100+ internet domain names, many of which appear to be just basic domains, like law-related domains, design-related domains. Like, I expected to see weird domain names. Instead, it was common domain names. I'm like, you just stole a bunch of people's domain names and gave it to Microsoft so they would have complete unfettered access and control over it, so they could look at everything without a hearing, without notice, without any evidence, without any discovery. This is insanity.
You send me the decision. You send me this order. I see it's 120 pages. And I'm like, oh my god! All right. First of all, ex parte temporary. So this was all done without even notifying the defendants, from what I understand, if the law is anything like what it was up in Quebec.
Yeah, in fact, he admits it. No notice. The defendants haven't even been served a suit. They don't even know they're being sued. Not only that, the people who own the sites are not even named as defendants. He's just seizing their domains because supposedly somebody bad somewhere once used their domains for some bad reason.
Well, I'm reading the decision, and you just read this. There is good cause to believe Jane Doe's operate a sophisticated Russia-based cyber criminal operation. Look, I have
the problem. It says Jane Doe's. Okay, we think, and then what they've discovered now is just say Russia. Hey, we think there's some Russians that are doing some bad stuff. Can you please give us all these domain names? Can you just steal them from these people and not let them know about it and let us control it and own it and shut down huge internet domains overnight?
But I'm so sufficiently naive that I presume that they have the identities and they were just keeping them. They were keeping them redacted.
They don't know. They don't know who it is, but they do know they're Russian.
There's good cause to believe
who they are, what their names are, but they're definitely Russian.
So they go into this. By the way, when I was surprised when I scrolled to the end to see what the conclusions say, but then when I get to the end, it's just endless lists of domain names, and then you realize the court order itself is only 9-10 pages. There's good cause to believe, yada yada yada, and then they go on to seize a bunch. Look, I know what I think in terms of this being what it is. What do you think is the underlying intent here? Are they trying to seize domain names? Are they trying to rationalize or set precedent for the ex parte unilateral seizing of private assets? Like, what do you think the underlying?
It's both. But in particular, what would happen if tomorrow the government controlled Rumble? Right? They go in and get a secret order requiring that the ultimate registrar of Rumble, its authority, be transferred to somebody else, the government.
And they can shut it down overnight, a month from the election.
They could shut it down, or they could control it and manipulate it without people knowing. Look at what they're trying to do with Alex Jones. They're trying to use a receivership to control and own Alex Jones, his image, his likeness, his public representations, his public statements, his public access. Here, they're using these proceedings, just say Russia, and watch, a federal judge will, without a hearing, without notice, without them even being named as parties to a case, without it even being alleged that the people who own and control these sites have done anything wrong at all. I mean, that's what's extraordinary. I kept looking for, well, clearly you have, no. That's why they're not even named defendants in the case.
Wow.
They're saying these Russians have used these websites. Please let us control these websites. Oh, well, is RT on Rumble? Yes. Okay, let's go in secret and buy up and control Rumble. And then overnight, without Rumble even knowing, they could have all the inside information on Rumble because they would own the domain, they would own everything about it, they would own all the traffic, they would own all the information. So they're setting up a precarious precedent. And what's striking is the same group of people, ideologically aligned group of people, are suing Hungary in the European Union because Hungary simply stood up and said, we don't want foreigners illicitly interfering in our elections. And they're like, that's violating people's human rights. So somehow it's not human rights for people to have access to Russian media in Europe or the United States, but it is human rights for everybody to interfere in Hungary's elections. It tells you how insane the law is on this and how directly contradictory they are in the same week.
No matter how cynical you get, it's hard to keep up, Robert. I feel stupid now for not even have made the connection. We talked about it earlier with the breaking up and selling off of TikTok. And I said, oh, they're going to use it as a pretext to go after Truth Social, maybe even Rumble. But you're right. Hey, just accuse Rumble of being having accounts that are Russian propaganda, whatever, that they have to shut down. And ex parte, Rumble doesn't even know. So what the hell? But the thing is this. Okay, so they haven't named any defendants. Who it's going to be the owners of those domain names, whatever they are.
Yeah, they'll have to come forward, and what they're being forced to do is litigate this in an unfriendly forum. So DC. They've got to initiate action themselves. They've got to do so in the D.C. District of Columbia courthouse that is already prejudiced against them to try to restore their rights to own their own domain. And it's a reminder that there are central locations along the internet highway. The government can seize control at any time of some of those places and locations. You know, like it starts off with sort of generic ones, but then you get into it's like seclaw.com or, look at that, bigdatabroadway.com. Hold on a second. Some of this is just real generic, basic sites. And for which they have no allegations in the complaint and are listed in the order that these sites are controlled by anybody doing anything illegal.
Cloud info. I'm scrolling now so that the chat, the aggregate knowledge of the interwebs could, look into this to see. Cloud IT Hub.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Seized and given to Microsoft overnight.
Let me see here. What do we got? Data Web Hub.
Seized and given to Microsoft overnight.
Okay, let's see what else we got coming down here. DocSec Gate.
SEC Gate.
What the hell is my problem? I can't read. eFlux Solutions. Okay, I don't know what the hell that is. This is really funny. This is testing my reading. Okay. Entheogenic MD. Okay, that sounds
seems like an MD site. Seized it overnight.
Extractordraw.com.
Seized overnight.
Gallet's
crypto data. And it appears to be a lot of sites that are involved in securing information. That are, not hacking sites that might protect people from hacking, and all of their information seized overnight and given to Microsoft in the secret Star Chamber-like proceeding.
Gateway Docs International. These all, some of these sound like CIA fronts, but whatever. Okay, there's you guys. Chat's got the idea. Wild.